This boat was the first boat designed by Halvorsen from the Halvorsen brothers. The reality is that a lot of the wood in this boat is excess from their yards, from leftovers from the Second World War. After their second transpac, they sold the boat to the local Greyhound bus dealer in Honolulu and came back to Sydney, and the boat had been sitting over there from '54 through to 2017. We basically have, where possible, reverted back to how she was. There were extra windows in the coach house and so on that were removed because they'd been put in Hawaii. There was a 4-foot bowsprit, so that there was a quirky rule in Honolulu that boats over about 40 feet, and she's a 36-footer, could get a berth in this particular marina, so they just built this 4-foot prodder. The Halvorsens were told that you can't design a fast boat with a canoe stern, so just to be stubborn Scandinavians, they said, well, we'll prove you wrong. So they did put in a canoe stern. Basically, if you've got more than 3 people in the cockpit at one time, it's all getting a bit too squeezy. And being an old school boat, there's no pit, all the winches and everything are at the mast, so that any sail changes or whatever, instead of having somebody in the back of the cockpit here being part of the process, all the action happens up at the mast. As I said, we've tried to pretty much keep as close as possible to the original situation. These pipe cots we've had to add in, but these 2 bunks here were the original setup, and that's how they used to race her. We've got the head and some storage areas. Most of our safety equipment we keep under these bunks here. The original water tanks were stored below these floorboards here, but we've got our anchors situated there at the moment and we use bottled water. We've had to add in some extra layers of electronics, which again run down the spine of the boat here. We've got an HF radio up here. But where possible, as I said, we've kept her as close as we can to the original lines. We've moved a few of the batteries and added in a bunk specifically for Annie, or the navigator. So we have like his and her bunks. She's got her own bunk, and all the guys have their bunks up here. But so she gets the warmth of being nearest the engine. Internally, there's no major structural change. We've added in a few bits and pieces we've needed. So the original head's up here, and pretty much is mostly the original timbers. There's no oven, everything's either done via this jet boil, or we have these mills where you can open them and crack a pack and they heat them, self-heating mill. Okay, so I'm now sitting in my wife Annie, the navigator co-owner's nav seat, which is also has the history of where Stan Darling used to sit, and he's, as I understand it, been the navigator for more winning Hobarts than any other navigator. I think Carl Crawford is catching up to him. This is literally where the guts of the smarts of the boat happen. All the electronics are focused around here, so we've put in the radios, the plotters, the AIS, and Annie runs a computer with Expedition. So, as I said, we race the boat with the electronics equivalent to a modern boat, and even though we may not have the speed the other boats have, we have all the tools to get there as quickly as we can. In modern boats, the navigator is normally tucked away somewhere down, out of sight and out of mind, and as we joke here, Annie's the only navigator that has to have sunglasses and sunscreen on, and she even has a blind here in case there's too much sun on the computer screen. So it's a bit different, and I think she's quite chuffed sitting here, as I am right now. Yeah, but as we say, the reality is we're just privileged to be a part of history, and so this is a privileged seat, but I'm sitting in here at the moment, and yeah, we enjoy the responsibility of looking after it.